would suggest for anybody who is interested in emergency medicine or anything in the critical care realm that this is a place where you're really going to challenge your skill set.
I would recommend coming to Guam because it is a challenge. You will definitely improve your skill set.
You can't ever predict what is going to come through the doors. You can't predict how your day is going to be.
And it's also a challenge because we are somewhat isolated out here. So when you run out of supplies, they're not always immediately available. And you really kind of learn a whole new MacGyver skill set, I like to call it.
Having been deployed in Afghanistan, a lot of the trauma patients that we see here are very similar to what you see when you're in a deployed setting. I knew from when I joined the Navy that I wanted to come to Guam because I heard the stories of the trauma patients that you see and the level of acuity at this hospital.
You know, we have the busiest ER and the busiest ICU in the Navy, and they see all kinds of stuff, and that trickles over to the operating room as well. You also, for labor and delivery, if you can't get patients that are sick off the island, then you do it here, and you do what you can, and you just do your best. So it's very challenging, very rewarding, because you get to see those things that you wouldn't see anywhere else in the Navy.
One of the things that's unique is, at least in my perspective, is I am the only nurse in our unit that's JMAT certified. So that means I'm in the Joint Medical Air Transport Team, and I'm the only nurse on our floor that can transport patients off island because we can't take care of them or their babies.
Here at NBU, Naval Hospital Guam, it's different when you compare this small command to the big command that I came from.
The Mother Baby Unit is unique because we do everything as far as triaging labors, postpartum, nursery babies, you do it all.
The key to helping a mom who is trying to have a baby, especially that is in pain, is that you have to gain their trust. It's very key that you gain their trust because you have to be comfortable with them before you do this for them. It's the closest you could get to somebody on a personal level. You're also sharing something major that is very big for their family, and you're just happy to be in that same room with that family.
We don't do complicated cases because we don't have the resources. We don't have the staff to take care of a baby that's premature. We don't have the equipment.
And you have to be very flexible and kind of adaptive to things because you're 8,000 miles away from anywhere. So you really have to think outside the box. And so I think it's great because it allows you to do those things that you don't get to do anywhere else.
Here in the emergency department in Guam, we actually take civilians, which is unique as opposed to any other naval hospital.
A lot of times there's a cultural and language barrier that we have to deal with on top of dealing with the complex care that comes with working in the ICU.
Patients coming in having strokes and heart attacks, whereas in the States they would go to a stroke center or the closest facility, not necessarily the naval hospital. So that's why the emergency department here is unique.
For me, I love the warm weather, the outdoor stuff, the diving, the swimming. So outside the hospital is great as well. And then in the hospital, of course, you get all the big cases and the really sick people that challenge you to really step outside the box again and think for yourself, and you just see things that you wouldn't see anywhere else. It's a very rewarding experience. You know, overseas commands are very close-knit, so it's like a big family. So that's really the hardest thing when you leave here, is that you leave your family to a certain extent.
This has been a hugely beneficial tour for me. My first year here, I had all of my student loans paid off. I thought that was the only thing that was going to be good that was going to happen to me here, but I was wrong. I also just recently on Christmas Day found out that I got picked up for DUINS, and that is a huge milestone for me in my career. And I had a baby too.
Personal experiences I've had in Guam, obviously a lot of hiking, a lot of snorkeling, a lot of being outside and doing water things, but I think the most favorite thing I've done was skydiving. Skydiving itself was incredible, but doing it over a tiny little island where you can see the water and the land, it's just a whole different viewpoint on where you're living.
For me, every Navy hospital is similar, except where the location is. So this is like, why, if you had a choice, why would you not be stationed on a tropical island? It's kind of a no-brainer.